Hi Year 7s, we're in our second video out of our video series to help us with our exams at the end of the year. This was a pretty nice week of maths. We learned about fractions, changing fractions from mixed fractions to improper fractions. We learned about adding and subtracting fractions, as well as decimal numbers. So starting off with fractions, over here we learned that we express fractions in this way and that we may have seen this number written in other ways. Maybe you've seen it written as 3 divided by 4 like this. Maybe you see it as 3 and then there's like a bit of a slide dash and the 4. All of these mean the same thing. And our fraction is split up into 3 sections. We have our numerator, the number at the top, and our denominator, the number at the bottom. And then this guy in the middle, I don't think there's a proper mathematical name for it. If there is, let me know, but I just call it a bar. When we were working with fractions this week, we learned that we can write fractions in a mixed form or in an improper form. Basically, we saw in a mixed form that we would have a whole number in the front, and then next to it there would be a fraction. And in improper form, we had that it looked like a normal fraction, except this number at the top was bigger than the number at the bottom, and that was what made it improper. So here you can see an example of the mixed fraction 1 and 1 over 6, written as an improper fraction of 7 over 6. But we needed to focus on how do we actually get that to happen in math. And luckily I found a couple games that I'm going to leave in the description for you if you want to practice this. Here in our first game we have, well, I mean, it's not really a game. I suppose it has points, but this doesn't really seem like a game to me. You have something that they're calling a game that has you practice changing mixed fractions to improper fractions. And how do we actually wind up doing this? We learned that in order to do this, get out of here, we needed to multiply our whole number by the number at the bottom, and then we needed to take that number and add to it whatever was at the top and leave the denominator the same. That was really, really important. So regardless of what's happening around here, the number at the bottom is going to stay 4. Let's see, 8 times 4, 8, 16, 24, 32, plus 1 is 33 over 4. Check. Oh my word, excellent. That's 2 points. What an amazing game. Okay, great. Next we had 3 and 3 over 9. So I multiply by the number at the bottom. 3 times 9, 9, 18, 27. Plus the 3 at the top, I get 30 over 9. Did you forget to simplify 1 point? Oh my gosh, they got me, guys. So it is important to remember to simplify when you're working with fractions. I'm going to go for a different color here. Let's go back to this guy. Here I wound up getting 30 over 9. And they only gave me 1 point in this amazing game because I didn't simplify it. You can simplify a fraction if there is a number that goes into both the number at the top and the number at the bottom. So what goes into 30 and goes into 9? Well, I know that 3 can go into 30 and 3 can go into 9. So if I wind up dividing both of these sides by 3, I get 10 over 3. And that would have gotten me 2 points. Alright, let's try one more and then we'll move on to converting improper to mixed. 7 times 8, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, plus 1 is 57 over 8. Yeah, 2 points. So now we move on to changing improper fractions into mixed numbers. I need to do this by dividing the number at the top with the number at the bottom. So if I look at 12 and I divide it by 10, I think how many times can 10 go into 12? It can go in once, and then what am I left over with? I have a remainder of 2. So my answer here is going to be 1 with my remainder of 2 over 10. So you've seen that the number at the bottom hasn't changed, but wait a second, I know I'm only going to get 1 point for this, right? Because I didn't simplify. So in that example, my 2 over 10, I could have changed to 1 over 5. Let's look at 7 over 5. How many times does 5 go into 7? It goes in once. I have a remainder of 2, and I leave it over 5. Okay, this one's a little bit harder. How many times does 7 go into 58? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. So it goes in 8 times. I have a remainder of 2. Geez, all of these are remainders of 2. That works out nicely. Amazing. Okay, this one, 10 goes into 11 once. I have a remainder of 1, and it's over 10. Wow, what a fun game. So I'm going to leave these in the description, and you can give them a try if you are struggling with these a little bit. From there, we started learning about adding and subtracting these fractions. When we add and subtract fractions, the reason why we were practicing these skills was because we needed to take any mixed fractions that we have and change them into improper fractions. That's our first step. We needed to convert all the fractions to an improper form. Sorry, that's not very good at showing you, but I'm saying this is important. That's why I'm covering it. Anyway, we needed to convert all of our fractions to an improper form. So if I had a question and they were saying, for example, we want you to change 2 and 5 over 7 and add it onto 3 over 7 as an example, I wouldn't be able to do this until I changed my mixed fraction first. So this would change into 2 times 7, which is 14, plus 5, which is 19 over 7, plus 3 over 7. Then from there, I'm going to add this together. Now, very important, you are not going to change the 7s. It is still going to stay as something over 7. You are adding 7ths together. That's the type of thing that you are adding. You're not going to change a denominator or your number at the bottom unless you are doing something with multiplying or dividing. That's kind of when you can do that type of thing. But here, if I've got 19 over 7 plus 3 over 7, I'm going to get 19 plus 3, which is 22 over 7. Alright, great. That worked out really well. Let's try another one. Let's say I had 3 and 3 over 5 minus 1 and 1 over 5. So that very first step that I needed to do is I had to convert any fractions that I had into improper fractions. So I've got mixed fractions here. 3 and 3 over 5 is going to become 18 over 5 minus 1 and 1 over 5 is going to become 6 over 5. 18 minus 6 is going to be 12 over 5. Easy peasy. Amazing. So remember here in this third step it said simplify your answer if you can. So just like when we were playing these amazingly fun games here, you needed to simplify at the end. So don't forget to do that. Later on in the week we were learning about decimals and we learned about place values. Here we learned that we have our decimal point and that separates our whole numbers, and then we go into tenths, hundredths and 1,000ths, and I've got these here in Swedish. I'm not going to try and pronounce them because I think you won't understand what I'm saying anyway, but there it is. So I like to think of this as if I'm working backwards. Say for example I had 0,3. I know the 3 would be a tenths value because I think of it as I'm reading 30 if I was reading it backwards. I know the 4 would be a hundredths value because if I was reading it backwards, 430. I know the 1 would be a 1000th value, because if I was reading it backwards, 1430. From there, we moved on to writing our decimals in expanded forms if we needed to. This was pretty straightforward. It has the Swedish name here for you, but you do need to know how to write down a number in an expanded form. So here, for example, 4,321 was 4 plus 0,3 plus 0,02 plus 0,001. From there, we went on to adding and subtracting decimals. I have got another game here. Again, super fun game. I haven't played this one though, so maybe there is actually like a game element to it. Let's see. Question 1. Now, if we are adding these guys together, 9,6 plus 3,7, the most important thing is I need to remember to keep my comma in place. This can't change. I've got to make sure that that comma point comes down, so that when I have my final answer, it still is actually a decimal number. And then from here, it's pretty much what it's always been. 6 plus 7 is 13. I'm going to carry that 1 over there. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 3 is 13. Oh my gosh, amazing. So the answer is 13,3. Do I have that here? Yeah. Good job. Free penalty kick. Oh, it's a soccer game. Okay. I just want to see where this goes. Click on the soccer ball to kick it and score. Ah! Oh my word, why am I so bad? Oh no, I did. I feel like I can't end it any better than that. So I'll see you next week. Bye.